Hey, wait, is this thing on? Oh, it is. Hey guys, this is editor agent here, and I just wanted to inform you that we have a new goal, and the new goal is 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Yeah, I know it's a big goal from where we're at right now, but I believe in you, and you, the viewer, yeah, you. If you look down slightly, yeah, keep looking more. You see that? Yeah, that's the subscribe button. If you press it, you'll get notified about my videos and content. And every time I post, you will know about it. So yeah. And if you press the like button, you will show even more people about this spectacular content that you so love and enjoy. And also, just a random fact on the screen. There's just, new content that's going to come out when we reach 1,000 subscribers. I'm totally not spoiling anything, of course. But yeah, you know, editor editor agent, I guess, is probably writing some stuff on the screen. If he is, make sure you don't pay attention to it. Yeah, don't worry about it. I am not a sellout, by the way, so yeah, don't worry about what it says on the screen. Just completely ignore that. But yeah, I've wasted your time enough. I've wasted your time enough. Unless you didn't do it. If you didn't do it, I'll wait. No, but like seriously, do it. Okay, so you probably did it by now. Back to your regularly scheduled program. What's up, guys? It's Agent What If, and I know I've been gone for a while, and I haven't been doing stuff. Um, but sorry about the wait. Didn't really mean to kind of like take it that long, but I was just taking a break and thinking. So yeah, I mean I'm done though. So I'm gonna get back right on schedule. Hopefully pretty soon, if not right now. So yeah, without any further ado, this is What If Deku Was the Son of Twice. We start our story off with one of Twice's clones when he first got his abilities or used them. When Twice first got his abilities or started using them, he had a mental breakdown because all of his consciousnesses were kind of splitting using, the clone, but the clones were all exactly alike, so they couldn't tell who was the original. But in the MHA world, if a cloner makes a clone, the very first clone they make is always the closest to the original, which means they're the strongest and last the longest. So the first clone he made actually managed to escape because this was his good consciousness. This was the good in him, the not crazy, since his consciousness gets split. Because of this, the clone ran away. And when the clone ran away, it eventually met Inko and fell in love with Inko. They began to settle down together, having a nice life. Even after Twice, destroyed all of his other clones, this clone still persisted. We'll call him clone number one, or just number one for short. Number one had a pretty good life with Inko and even ended up getting her pregnant. But when the world found out who Twice was and the League of Villains and all of that for the first time, when around the time when All Might got injured, I don't care if this isn't actually original. I'm making the story, so yeah, just take some liberty, I guess. Anyway, that's when she found out that Twice was one of the League of Villains, villains. They then showed a face, and she looked exactly like Twice. And eventually she just thought this was this was just a coincidence. It wasn't true. And then she found out that his abilities were to make clones of himself. Inko immediately ran up to number one and confronted him about her discovery. Of course, number one denied it, even though all of it was true. She began to cry and asked why would he lie to her, and he finally broke down, not being able to lie to her anymore, saying that he's sorry, he didn't really want it to be this way, but he is a clone, but he can't help it, and that their love, even though he's fake, is actually real. She begins to tell him to get out slowly, and she begins yelling more loudly and more viciously. He begins to leave after, just a little bit of encouragement from Inko. And once he's out of the door, he turns around to try to speak, but she shuts the door. This is when finally his madness starts to creep back up upon him. And when that finally happens, number one actually turns into, like, the liquid that they turn into when they are destroyed, twice as clones. Inko is horrified at what she's done and who she's been with. She begins to cry and cry and cry until she can't cry anymore, and her eyes are sore and puffy from all the tears. She looks at her stomach, seeing that she's now pregnant and that she's going to have the child of a villain. Not even the child of a villain, the child of a clone of a villain. She begins to cry more, or at least she's trying to, but she has no more tears to cry. Then we skip a few months into the future, when Inko is on the table and she's currently giving birth to Izuku. When Izuku is born, unlike Inko or his father number one, or twice, really, we can call him twice, Izuku's hair is actually purple. And his skin is quite pale. Not really horribly pale, but he looks kind of like a ghost. Izuku comes out of the womb perfectly healthy and fine. The doctors then hand the baby to Inko, and Inko holds the baby, looking down at the baby, trying to see if he has any features of his father. Then we skip a couple years into the future. Once Izuku is around the age of 4 years old and his quirk starts to manifest, she begins to get anxious. She begins to get restless, thinking about what if he has the same power as his father. She begins to get more angry and angry at Izuku, seeing more of his father inside of him than her inside of him. She begins to start lashing out her anger and frustrations on him, getting angry with Izuku frequently, yelling at him, screaming at him, and not liking him at all. Izuku starts barely even getting treated like her child. That's around the time when Izuku's power started to develop more fiercely because of the stress that was always happening. Izuku's powers are just like his father's, identical but better. His abilities allow him to create clones that can take the shape of anything or anyone they are pretending to be, and can continue and have the properties or characteristics of whatever they're pretending to be. And also, when Izuku's clones go out and, do stuff, Izuku, when they finally dissipate, he gets the knowledge from it. It's kind of like shadow clones from Naruto. When Izuku realized this, he began to use this almost instantly. Izuku thought that maybe if he was a better student, maybe if he got all A's, maybe if he was a better athlete, his mother would like him more. So he incessantly started researching with his clones, doing push-ups and sit-ups with his clones. His sit-ups and push-ups and stuff with his clones doesn't build muscle, but it builds muscle memory. So even though he doesn't have the muscles to prove he's run miles every day, he has the cardiovascular system of someone who has run miles every day. So he has the endurance even without the muscle mass. Izuku is just out here just doing every single thing he can. And by this point, he far surpasses the intelligence of a normal child. Izuku has a very, very, very high IQ at this point. He's learned a numerous amount of subjects. Actually, Izuku's already out of school. That's how smart he is. That's how much knowledge he's absorbed using his clones. When Izuku finally stops and he comes home from school, his final day of school, in 5th grade. Well, actually, no. I believe it's 2nd, right? You go to school when you're... No, you don't even go to school when you're 4. You go to school when you're like 6. So it's probably like 2nd grade or 1st grade. And he actually leaves school never to return again, since he's actually graduated high school already and almost college. But he didn't actually want to go to college because he decided it would be a waste of time, since he already knew everything there, and his life would be much easier just using his quirk. Izuku then just went home and told his mother about the good news. She was still angry with him and didn't even look at his direction. When he asked her what was she angry with him, she began to get even more furious. She looked at him with a death glare and told him to get out of her presence. Izuku complied, walking up the stairs very slowly. When Izuku finally went all the way up the stairs, he closed his room and he sat in a corner. He wondered why she didn't like him. Why? What did he do to her? Was it the reason he was born? Was it him? Did he do something to her? Is he offensive just by living? He wonders and wonders and wonders, but can't find a reason. With all his intellect, he can't find a reason. Izuku then gets angry with himself. He decides that he'll do what he's good at, learning. So Izuku looks up something fun, trying to learn something, anything fun. He starts learning just general information about plants and survival and all of that other stuff. He stumbles upon, multiple martial arts, and he decides that since he wanted to be a hero, it would be good to learn them. He begins practicing with his clones, and his clones practicing with other clones, and he learns very quickly. In the span of a few months, he learns pretty much all there is to know, and now all he needs is experience. But that's just with a couple martial arts. Izuku's finally done, and he realizes that since he knows who his father is, because Izuku's not an idiot, he's too smart for that, his powers are exactly like his father's, and he knows who his father is since his mother has almost said his name multiple times. Izuku, knowing who his father is and what he's done, comes to the conclusion that it's probably him that's the reason that he is hated by his mother, which is the reason he hates villains, which is the reason he's going to be a hero. Anyway, Izuku discovers that his powers are just identical to his father, so he can do the same things. Izuku begins to copy his mother, and he finds out that her abilities are actually pretty lackluster, but that he can actually give abilities no matter what. That his clones, he can give them any ability he wants, regardless of whether or not the person they're pretending to be has those abilities. Izuku is astonished, and he wonders how useful this power could be. Izuku even thinks of being able to take over the entire world. But he squanders the thought from his head, saying that being a hero is enough for now. For now, though. Izuku then leaves his room, having more power and more knowledge than his mother could understand. And then we basically skip to when Izuku's 15. When Izuku is 15, he's mastered multiple martial arts and has pretty much mastered his powers. He applied to UA and instantly got a recommendation because Izuku is well known in the community. Izuku is well known as a prodigy because outside Izuku's household, he is a mega genius of astonishing proportions, a very good martial artist and fitness person, and also just so happens to be one of the only people in their city who's ever graduated high school at the age of 6 or 7. So Izuku is not some nobody that no one knows about. Izuku is known. That's why immediately when he sends a recommendation, or not even recommendation, an application to UA instantly accepts and actually go out of their way to try to show him a tour around the school and give him his own private room before the school year even starts, and it's bigger and better and more luxurious than all of the other rooms in UA, because that's just how important and influential he is. Bakugo still hates him because of the fact that Bakugo went to the same school as Izuku did when he was 4 years old. And that's around the time when Izuku began to learn his powers more efficiently and began to become more and more intelligent and far surpassed him. So Bakugo's trying to strive for something that he cannot reach, which has resulted in him getting massively stronger. Izuku is powerful and bigger and stronger than Bakugo by a large margin, but Bakugo is trying to close the distance. I'd say they're around the two strongest out of UA, off the bat. Izuku is stronger than Bakugo. Bakugo is weaker than Izuku, but stronger than Todoroki. So instantly, those two are at the top. And the reason I played this is because I feel like that's what would happen. If Bakugo had an unreachable goal, he would strive to it, especially if it was someone he hated. Bakugo is fueled by hate, so we all know this. Anyway, Izuku continues on. He tells them that it's not needed to give him a luxurious room, and they ask him if he's sure, and he said yes. The only thing he actually asked for was, instead of getting a window, to have no window. And they made a room that didn't have a window for his specifics. Izuku said thank you and went back home. When Izuku finished going back home, he just went home, and his mother looked at him. Izuku had a smile on his face, showing happiness, saying, "Mom, I got into UA. They said they were going to accept me." She looks at him and wonders why he's so happy. And she says, "Okay, that's great." And Izuku then says, "Thanks, Mom. I knew you'd be proud." And he begins to walk up the stairs. But before he can go up the stairs, she then yells at him saying, "Izuku." And when Izuku hears that voice, sorry about that, his smile turns to a frown, and he begins walking down the stairs. And she says, "Were you being sarcastic with me?" And Izuku smiles again, saying, "Of course not." And she then gets angry at him and throws something at him, but Izuku catches it and throws it to the ground. She then gets angry at him for catching the bottle that she threw at him. It wasn't like an alcohol bottle or anything. It was just a bottle on the table. It was like a glass. And Izuku gets she walks up onto Izuku and looks him in the face, even though Izuku's pretty tall, much taller than her by a lot, right? And she just looks him in the face and says, "So you think that you can go around breaking stuff? So you think just because you're 15 now that you run things here?" Izuku smiles again with an eye smile, kind of like Sai's smile. And, she gets angry at him again and slaps him in the face. Izuku just takes it, not doing anything, and begins to ask her, "If that's all, Mom, I'd like to go to my room so that I can finish whatever homework or things I need to get done." And he begins walking up the stairs, and she gets even angrier at him, yelling and screaming his name when he goes upstairs. He closes his door and locks it because he doesn't want to be disturbed, and he sits down meditating, finding his inner calm, and resisting the urge. If you know, you know, the urge. Everyone has had that urge before. So yes. Then we time skip to when the entrance exam is finally time to be taken. But I think that's where we're going to end this episode. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all that. We were actually pretty fairly close to getting to 1,000 subscribers. So thank you. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment on all that. We are really, 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 really close to 1,000 subscribers. And I'm probably going to do a special on 1,000 subscribers. I am definitely going to have a fire intro for you guys. I'm also going to have some other stuff, but I'm not going to tell you about that because I don't think that it's needed. You'll just have to find out when we get to 1,000 subscribers. I mean, I don't know what else I can tell you, but I'm going to just end it there. Peace.